In the cold, fog-choked moors of Northumbria, hidden beyond the reach of modern maps, lies the village of Wyrmwood. Few dare speak its name, and fewer still return once they've entered its bounds. Locals say it's cursed a place where time folds and ancient evils sleep lightly. The arrival in the autumn of 1912, a young folklorist named Thomas Greaves ventured into Wyrmwood. He had heard whispers in the taverns of Hexamov, a village untouched by time, where the dead walked freely and shadows whispered secrets. A scholar of ancient myths, Thomas believed Wyrmwood might hold the last remnants of Britain's forgotten pagan past. With notebook in hand and a heart full of curiosity, he arrived on the last train before the line was shut down for repairs, a detail he would later see his fate. The village Wyrmwood looked as if it had been carved from an old painting. Stone cottages, thatched roofs, and a single crooked steeple looming over the village green. But the silence unsettled him. There were no children playing, no birds in the trees, only the low tolling of a bell that seemed to echo from nowhere. Lodged at the hollow hearth inn, run by a greyed woman named Elspeth, whose accent hinted at a time long past. Her manner was polite but distant. "Keep to the paths after dark," she warned. "And don't look at the barrow if it hums." The barrow. At the edge of Wyrmwood, near the twisted yew trees, sat an ancient burial mound covered in moss, stones etched with runes, older than Saxon tongue. Villagers called it the Wyrm's Rest. Thomas, ever the academic, couldn't resist. On the third night, he climbed the barrow just as dusk bled into the sky. There was no sound, no wind, no rustle of leaves, only the faint vibration beneath his boots. Then it hummed. A low, keening sound like the breath of something enormous and asleep. The stones pulsed with faint light. Should have fled, but his legs rooted in awe. Behind him, someone whispered, "You woke it?" The Wyrm. The next morning, the village had changed. Windows were shuttered, and symbols of protection were scrawled in chalk on every door. Elspeth refused to speak, only slipping him a note that read, "Leave now, it knows you." But Thomas was gripped. He stayed. That night he dreamed of the barrow opening like a mouth, and a creature of roots, bones, and smoke crawling forth. Its voice was the wind in the moors. "You wear the name of the blood that bound me." He awoke screaming. Curse the Wyrm, as it was known in old tales, was no mere dragon but a forgotten god, one cast down during the Christian purges, buried under runes and blood. It fed on memory, pulling the past into the present, collapsing years into moments. Each villager was a prisoner of time, caught in loops of fear and ritual. Some had been there for centuries, their names lost to history. And Thomas, descendant of the druid priest who had sealed the Wyrm, had broken the final seal by setting foot on the barrow. The last entry, Thomas's journal, was found years later in the ruins of Hollow Hearth in half-burned, its pages stained with something dark and brittle. It ended with a scrawl. "I see them now, the villagers with hollow eyes, walking backward through time. The Wyrm speaks in my dreams. I am becoming part of the village, and it of me. My name is no longer mine. My voice echoes in the barrow." No trains ever ran to Wyrmwood again. The tracks rusted, overgrown with ivy and silence. But sometimes, on fog-heavy nights, hikers on the moors hear a bell tolling faintly in the mist hand, a low, ancient humming. Those who follow it are never seen again.